Okay, this was the Jeopardy review. Just go through each of the questions in order. So give the most precise name for the quadrilateral. So we had 7 different types of quadrilaterals. We had parallelograms. Then under parallelograms, we had rhombus, rectangles, and squares. We also had trapezoids, isosceles trapezoids, and kites. So here we have the only information that's given to us about this quadrilateral is you have 2 pair of opposite sides that are parallel. So that's going to tell us it's a parallelogram. It could be a rhombus. If all 4 sides were congruent, it would be a rhombus, but we don't know that. If all 4 angles were right angles, then it would be a rectangle, but we don't have any information on the angles. And if all 4 sides were congruent and all 4 angles were right angles, then it would be a square. But right now, all we know is 2 pairs of opposite sides are parallel, so the best name we can give it is a parallelogram. Here, it should tell us here that it's a rectangle. I think we probably got to fix that. But A, B, C, D is a rectangle. The problem should tell us that. Okay, the measure of BAC is 4x plus 5. Measure of CAD is 5x minus 14. We want to find the measure of angle CAD. So if this is a rectangle, we know that this big angle here is a right angle. And we know right angle measure is 90, so we know 4x plus 5 plus 5x minus 14 is going to equal 90. You can just use menu 3-1 in the calculator. If you want to solve by hand, you have 9x minus 9 is 90, so 9x is 99, so x is 11. We want to find the measure of CAD, so that's 11 times 5 minus 14 is going to be 41. And then this one would have been 49. Okay. So that should have said rectangle. Okay. Following is a parallelogram. Find the values of x, y, and z. Okay, well, opposite angles of parallelogram are congruent. So that's going to be 105. Here you can do alternate interior angles. So this is 31. Alternate interior angles are congruent if the lines are parallel. So that's 44. We know the lines are parallel because it's a parallelogram which has 2 pairs of opposite sides that are parallel. We also know this whole angle would be 75. And then these are consecutive angles, which should be supplementary. So x is going to be 31, y is going to be 44, and z is going to be 105. Then here we have a kite. So we know the diagonals of kite are perpendicular, so we're going to have 90 degrees, 4 right angles. Perpendicular lines form 4 right angles, so 90, 90, 90. We also know that one pair of angles of a kite are going to be bisected by the diagonal. So that's the pair that's between the 2 sides that are congruent. So that's going to be these 2. So the measure of angle 1 is going to be 16. From there we know the 3 angles of a triangle add up to 180. So 180 minus 90 minus 16 is going to give us 74. Okay. So 1 is 16, 3 is 70. Okay, the next one we have a parallelogram. DH is x plus 4. HF is 3y. GH is 2x minus 3. And HE is 4y plus 3. So it's a parallelogram. We know that the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. So if we look at our half sheet, we know that these are going to be congruent. So we have x plus 4 equals 3y, and we have 2x minus 3 equals 4y plus 3. We can use menu 3-2 on our calculators. We have two different equations with two different variables each. So menu 3-2 is a good way to go. If you want to do it by hand, we're going to either do substitution or elimination. Since we already have an x by itself, I'm going to do substitution. Again, the best way is to use your calculator. But if we do it by hand, this is what we do. Okay, then we plug 3y minus 4 in for x. Okay, that's 6y minus 8 minus 3. That's 6y minus 11. Subtract 4y from both sides. Add 11 to both sides. We get 2y equals 14, so we get y equals 7. Okay, then we plug that back in. 3 times 7 minus 4 is going to give us 17. So x is going to be 17, y is going to be 7. We plug that back in, that's going to give us 21 and 21. 31 and 31. Okay. Diagonals bisect each other. Okay, give the most precise name for the quadrilateral. It's got 4 congruent sides, so this is a rhombus. Okay, which means it's a parallelogram, but the rhombus is the most precise name for our quadrilateral here. Okay, measure of angle B equals the measure of angle D. 36, so we have 36 and 36. Well, it's a parallelogram, so we know consecutive angles are supplementary. So 180 minus 36 is going to be 144. There's a parallelogram. Alternate interior angles are congruent, so this is going to be 29. This is a linear pair. 180 minus 78 is going to be 102. And then 3 angles of a triangle add up to 180. So 180 minus 29 minus 78. So 150 minus 77 is 83. Right? 102, yeah, 73. What did I say, 83? 73. Need some Mountain Dew. Get some sugar. Yeah, I don't know why it says 49. It is 180 minus 78 is 102 minus 29 I don't know why I'm blanking. It is 73. What are you? Yeah, I don't know. All right. Kite. AEB. So we know these are all right angles. We also know that this is 5x minus 10. So we know that 5x minus 10 equals 9. Right, diagonals of a kite are perpendicular, so you have 4 right angles. You can solve for x, so 5x is 100. So x is going to be 20. That means DE here is 6x. So 6 times 20 is going to be 120. We know the diagonal here between the two non-congruent sides is going to be bisected by the other diagonal, so we know this one's also 120. And so the whole thing here, BD, is 240. 120 plus 120. Right, we've got another kite here. We know that AB is x plus 3. We know that BC is x plus 4. We know that CD is 2x minus 1. And we know that AD is 3x minus y. So we have x plus 3 is a kite, so our two consecutive sides are congruent, so x plus 3 is going to equal 3x minus y. And we also know that x plus 4 is going to equal 2x minus 1. So subtract x and add 1. You get 5 equals x. We plug that back into here. We get 8, right? 5 plus 3 is 8 equals 15 minus y. Subtract 15. Negative 7 equals negative y. So 7 equals y. And then x was 5. Is that off the screen a little bit? That's okay. There it is. Lack of awareness on my part there. Okay, give the most precise name. So here we have 4 right angles. That makes it a rectangle. If it was a square, it'd have 4 congruent sides as well, because it would also be a rhombus. So our best name here is rectangle. Okay, find the values of A and B. Okay, the diagram is not to scale. So the only property we know for trapezoids, so they kind of blurry, but we have 2 arrows here showing us we have 1 pair of parallel sides, so it's a trapezoid. And the only property we have is that consecutive sides between the angles are supplementary. So 180 minus 39 is going to be 141. 180 minus 116 is 64. And we know that all of these should add up to 360. These add up to 180, these add up to 180, so all 4 add up to 360. That's all we know for a regular trapezoid. Okay, ABCD is a rhombus. The measure of DEC is 5x. We know a rhombus has diagonals that are perpendicular. So these all equal 90. So we know that 5x is going to equal 90. So we know that x is going to equal 18. Diagonals are perpendicular, so 90, 90, 99. Okay, angle J and angle M are base angles of an isosceles trapezoid. Okay, so the trick with this one is drawing it out properly. You have to draw it so that J and M are your 2 base angles. So J, K, L, M. Okay, we know base angles in it's isosceles. We know the base angles are congruent. So the measure of angle J is 17x plus 7 and 14x plus 10. Since base angles are congruent, we can set them equal. So you get 3x equals 3 and you get x equals 1. Okay, plug it back in. 17 plus 7 is going to be 24. 24. We want the measure of angle K though. So consecutive angles between the bases are supplementary, so 180 minus 24 is going to give us 156. So the measure of angle K is 156. Okay, if one side of a parallelogram is 2 less than 5 times the another side, and the perimeter is 92, find the length of each side. So let's draw it out. We'll call one side x. It says that the other side is 2 less than 5 times the other side. So 5 times this side is going to be 5x, and it is 2 less than 5 times that. So 2 less would be minus 2. It's 2 less than 5 times the other side. If we make the other side x, it's 5x minus 2. In the parallelogram, opposite sides are congruent, so this is also 5x minus 2. This is also x. Perimeter means the length around the outside of whatever figure you're talking about. So here we have a quadrilateral, so we have 4 sides, so we want to add the length of those 4 sides together. So that's x plus 5x minus 2 plus x plus 5x minus 2 equals 92 centimeters. Okay, combine, again, menu through one in the calculator and you're done, or at least to find x. So combine like terms, that's going to be 12x minus 4 equals 92. You add 4 to both sides. 12x equals 96. Divide by 12. X equals 8. So these sides are 8. And then these are 5 times 8 is 40 minus 2 is 38. So 38, 38, 2, and 2. All right, classify our figure. So we have one pair of parallel sides, that makes it a trapezoid. And then we have the legs are congruent, so this would be an isosceles trapezoid. So a trapezoid is true, quadrilateral is true, but an isosceles trapezoid is your best or your most precise name for the quadrilateral. An isosceles trapezoid because the legs are congruent. Again, think of an isosceles triangle. All right, ABCD is a rectangle. AC is 4x minus 60. BD is 30 minus x. We know in a rectangle the diagonals are congruent. So diagonals are congruent, so we set them equal to each other. So the length of AC and the length of BD are the same, so 4x minus 60 equals 30 minus x. Add x to both sides. Add 60 to both sides. You get 5x equals 90. And we get x equals 18. Okay, we want to find the length of BD though. So 30 minus 18 is going to equal 12. So this right here has a length of 12. So should AC, let's check and make sure though. 4 times 18, that's going to be 72. 72 minus 60 is also 12. So this one right here is also 12. 12 and 12. Diagonals around rectangle are congruent. Okay, a rhombus. Measure of ADB is 27. Since it's a rhombus, we know the diagonals are bisected by, or the angles are bisected by the diagonals, so this is also going to be 27. So then ADC is going to be 54. 27 plus 27 gives us 54. So here we have a kite. Tells us the measure of angle R is 110, S is 80. Find the measure of angle T. So in a kite, we know one pair of opposite angles are congruent, and that's going to be the pair that's between the two sides that are not congruent. So that means this one's going to be 80, right? They're between the two sides that are not congruent. So those angles are congruent. And then we know that the 4 angles of any quadrilateral, including a kite, add up to 360. So 360 minus 110 minus 80 minus 80 gives us 90. Okay. N is 9x minus 5. LM is 8x plus 6. NM is x minus 5. And OL is 5y minus 4. Okay. It's parallelogram. Opposite sides of parallelograms are congruent. So 9x minus 5 equals 8x plus 6. And then 5y minus 4 equals x minus 5. And again, you can solve it out manually, but just menu 3-2. You're going to get minus 8x. You get x equals 11. And then you plug it in here. So 11 minus 5 is going to give us 6. So you add 5, that's going to be y is going to end up being 2. So 11 and 2. Just use your calculator, menu 3-2. This is a quadrilateral. We know that 3 angles of a quadrilateral add up to 360. So we know that x plus x plus x plus 60 equals 360. So 3x equals 300. Divide by 3, x equals 100. Fairly straightforward. 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 60 equals 360. Okay, we want to find the values for A, B, C, and D. So this is a hexagon. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. Okay, to find the sum of the interior angles, you got to do 180 minus 2, which or 180 times n minus 2. So that's 180 times 4, which is 360. I'm sorry, 720. So the sum of these 6 angles is 720. We want to find each, so we got to do 720 divided by 6, because there are 6 of them. That's going to give us 120. So all of these are 120. 120. The sum of exterior angles is 360. Okay, so to find each exterior, you got to do 360 divided by the number of exterior angles, which is 6. So it's going to be 60. Okay, so this is 60, 60, 60, 60, 60, 60. So A and D are 60, B and C are 120 each. Oops. Is it frozen? Why is it not working? Okay, find the sum of the angles of a regular 72-gon. Okay, so n is going to be 72. So to find the sum of the angles, we just use our formula, 180 times n minus 2. So 180 times 1 times 72 minus 2. Okay, it's just 180 times 70. I have no idea what that's going to be. 56. 12,600 should be your answer. Okay. That's the sum of all of them. If you wanted to find each one, you would divide by 72. Yep. Measure of an interior and exterior angle of a 46 gun. So n is going to be 46. To find the sum of the interior, we got to do 180 times n minus 2, which is 44. So 0. 7,920 is the sum of the interior. There's 46 angles, so we need to divide by 2. By 46. And then whatever that is. want to do that out? Probably not. Let's grab a calculator. What is it? 7920 divided by 46. Control Enter. 172.2. About approximately 172.2. Okay, the sum of the exterior angles is 360, and there are going to be 46 of them. So 360 divided by 46. I'm sorry, 360 divided by 46. 7.8. Right, and that's good because these two should be supplementary, right? They should add up to 180. Okay. And then here we have parallelogram ABCD, so we want to draw this out. AB is measured angle A is x minus 4, 5x minus 5, x plus 2, 3x minus 23. So the four angles here are going to add up to 360. It's a quadrilateral, so the four angles of any quadrilateral, if it's a parallelogram or not, are going to add up to 360. So x minus 4 plus 5x minus 5 plus x plus 2 plus 3x minus 23 is going to equal 360. So that's going to be 10x minus 30, right? 10x minus 9 minus 7 minus 30 is 360. So that's 10x equals 390 divided by 10 divided by 10x is going to be 39. And we could plug that back in. 35. 40 times 5 is 195. Oh, the numbers aren't going to work out. I just made them up. That's okay. Yeah, the numbers aren't going to add up. They're not. You're not going to have. I mean, they are going to add up to 360, but these two aren't going to be equal, and those two aren't going to be equal like they should be because I just made these numbers up. So, yeah, that's not going to work out. But that's fine. Just pretend this was a quad. Definitely not a parallelogram. Okay. That's it, right?